What's good? So, we're going to get into Mr. Epstein. This one right here will be episode 6. What in the world? That's probably going to be the name of it. So, anyway, my girl Candace is starting to drop some Epstein stuff. So, let's find out. SFAFO.
How's that? I've decided that when you guys actually move to elect me the dictator of the United States, or maybe the dictator of the world, that's how I will greet you guys every night and bring you the news. I don't know how your weekend went, but I was marked safe from being in the Epstein files. Me, Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, we were marked safe.
Hey, me too. I ain't in that crap. I know who he is, though.
Boy, oh boy, were we right. We were so right. This podcast, can I just say that it's actually aging like fine wine? This was me.
I like the name of her episode right here called Ball So Hard. That's really funny.
On like Thursday of last week. Take a listen. This is the synagogue of Satan. I do not go halfway with defending pedophiles. Goodbye. Are you out of your mind?
Either.
I hate all of you.
I don't either. Like, this one thing, we have laws to protect children like this, and but they're breaking the laws anyway, so I mean, that's what it is.
You guys are all a part of the same demonic entity. Your God is Satan. You guys are Baal worshippers. You will continue to kill and sacrifice children until you feel that demon rewards you. And I stand against
Candace,
you.
You're intense.
Yeah, this is how I feel about these people.
Intense.
They are satanic right and left at the top. I'm kind of feeling like I actually didn't go hard enough. Anyway.
I feel like she could have, but she didn't.
Today we are going Max like always. Welcome back to Candace.
I'm gonna skip through this part.
Who mentored him, Wilhelm Fleece. Now, I should skip to the part and tell you Wilhelm Fleece also molested his own son, Robert Fleece. Robert Fleece spoke about that when he got older. But Sigmund Freud is writing to Wilhelm Fleece after he gets initiated, because they wait until you're 36 to initiate you into the occult mystic Kabbalah. Okay, I'm going to read you what he writes. He's referring to a patient who he previously hadn't understood before his initiation, who came in, and she spoke to him about what she experienced when she was a child. He writes, imagine I obtained a scene, which means a patient was speaking to him about this, about the circumcision of a girl, the cutting of a piece of her labia, sucking up the blood, following which the child was given a piece of the skin to eat. He then fast forwards and he says, I dream, therefore, of a primeval devil religion.
That's disgusting. Well, yeah. Ugh. Dang. Poor thing.
Whose rites are carried on secretly. And I understand the harsh therapy of the witches' judges. And then he speaks about this. Freud is implying here, by the way, this we are so anti-Semitism proof. This book was written by a guy who was the director of the Freud archives. He read Freud's unpublished works and determined that, yeah, Freud knew that the children were being abused in Vienna, and he created a social science, psychology, to help gaslight those children. This is what you got to be aware of. This is all real. It's not imagined. These are not kooky people on the internet that are telling you this. Quite the opposite. And then this guy, Jason Massone, who writes this book, writes that Freud is implying here that the Sabbats were real events, part of a ritualized religion in which sexual perversions were acted out. So he was aware that this was happening. And in case you are not aware, Sigmund Freud, the background story there is wild. All right, he was once an outcast in the very tight-knit, perverted psychology club in Vienna because he told the truth. He went to the morgue. He examined children who had died after they were horrifically murdered and sexually assaulted. And then he also saw patients who were children who were still alive, who were telling him these stories about what they lived through. And he had determined after speaking to these children that they were all telling the truth. And so he gets ostracized from the psychology community. He's like, no, this is actually happening, and it's also incestuous. And they go, get out of here. You can't be with us. You can't publish his paper. Oh no, what would the goyim think? He actually did publish his findings, and like I said, the pervert turned on him. Then, remarkably,
Yeah,
at the
I
age
could
of 30,
probably see them do that. Yeah, uh, yeah, they don't sound good. Uh, take them out.
6, he partakes in a ritual during which he's welcomed into the club, and he changes his mind and he writes to Wilhelm Fleece
You
that
see,
he now
uh,
understands.
a lot of that could go with the Bible and everything, and Babylon and all that. They were doing the same stuff then that they're doing now, and they worshiping these fallen gods or sons, whatever you want to call them, the fallen, watchers, or anything like that. So, yeah, they were doing this then, and they're doing it now. So, let's keep going.
Okay, so that's what I just read to you. Like he now understands what is happening, and that is why you need to wake up and recognize that this is what is happening in our world. And what he's referring to are ancient pagan festivals and ceremonies that center around the earth's cycles of death and rebirth. And so to make this extra clear to you, we are not in a war between monotheistic faiths. The people that we are fighting are effectively pagan gypsies who have been wearing the cloak of Judaism, I would say, since the fall of the missing Khazarian Empire. The Khazars were a nomadic Turkic tribe
I'm
who
going to look them
adopted
up.
Judaism in the 8th century. Now, Freud, this part is important. We're going to get to what's in Epstein's emails because, man, if I didn't tell you guys the truth, Freud himself was a racist, okay? He was a part, like I said, of the Freemason group B'nai B'rith, which had, if you don't know what B'nai B'rith is,
Henry Ford also had help creating the Federal Reserve too, so
you got to wake up, especially if you're in America, okay? That lodge, it's Jewish supremacists. They had everything to do with the Civil War in America. They excel at creating the false dialectic, the North versus the South, the left versus the right. Ulysses S. Grant notoriously expelled Jews from his military district, Tennessee, Mississippi, Kentucky. You think he was just like what, another white supremacist? Everyone's just a white supremacist.
no.
Another.
If anybody needs to be on our currency, would be him. He was a good he's a good man, and another military general. He's one of my favorites. He was a good man though.
Well, they would have called him a white supremacist, or he was anti-Semitic. Everybody's just anti-Semitic. No, this had everything to do with what they were cooking up at these lodges, B'nai B'rith. That then subsequently became the ADL after the ritualistic murder of a Catholic girl named Mary Fagan. There is no hiding that anymore. I don't care if Dennis Prager is going to write another letter and say, that's not true. This case is not real. It's happened so many times during the same dates, the same holiday season, all throughout history, that it is getting ridiculous to not acknowledge that this is true and this is real. And the Epstein files create an opportunity for us to discuss this, to hear the way they speak about us behind closed doors, exactly how Sigmund Freud spoke. It's racist, right? I want to make it clear that this is, for them, a religious philosophy, a racist perspective that we are goyim, meaning cattle that are meant to be herded and ruled over. I said this at the end of last year. I said this is how I am being treated because I don't listen to them. Hence their psychotic, obsessive, and frankly, their evil manner in which they have confronted me simply trying to move on in my life after realizing I don't want to work for Zionist psychopaths. I just don't want to do that if that's cool to them.
That's why I like her so much. Is she's straight up. Ben Shapiro. I haven't listened to him in a long time. Well, there's reasons why I won't listen to him because I'm not gonna go into it. So, yeah, like she said, F Ben Shapiro. Yeah.
Them, that's akin to a buck that won't break. How dare you they feel as maybe you or I would feel if an animal beat us at a game of chess. That's what it feels like when Candace is just like, peace, I'm out, and her life is not subsequently ruined and over. And they will keep publishing things and calling me names. Everything she's saying is an anti-Semitic conspiracy until the emails drop and Jeffrey Epstein, who worked on behalf of the Rothschilds, according to him, he wrote that in an email, the Rothschilds, who credit themselves with having created which nation state? Oh, right, Israel. Israel, the same nation state that is having a bunch of women say that they were ritualistically abused in a forest by rabbis. That's happening in the Knesset right now, that nation state, saying that they were 3, 4 years old when this happened. He's saying, those are my bosses, the Rothschilds. And here is a brief, but by no means an extensive coverage video that was put together by, I assume this guy must be Goy, right? Goy? Is he Goy? TikToker, Contrarian put this together. Take a listen.
Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish-American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having
Well, never mind. I'm not going to comment.
any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
Said that their operation...
Well, the reason why for that, they're God's people. But, I love that faith. I'm a Christian, yes. And, wow.
was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
Anybody gonna say that that's not real anymore? Hey, really bad time, Rob McCoy, who wrote a public letter accusing me of being anti-Semite. Can you some of that energy?
Is that I'm not anti-Semite. I just don't like the Israeli government. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can say to... or nothing anybody can say to me to like the government. I don't support the people, but the government is very shady. That's my opinion on it, but it's just opinions. No, that I don't think they're better than us. They're not better than us, for real. People like that are not better than us. And see, it's not our job to judge anybody because, like the war in Afghanistan, Dick Cheney passing away. I wonder what that conversation with God was about. Because they lied about it. But she's going to go on into the, the one thing that caught my attention about this video that I really do like. Let's find out.
Towards Israel, your masters, because I won't have them be mine. I can't. I recognize it for what it is. It's using money, finances to whip people into shape, so to speak. I know, like I said, the true history of the slave trade, and the amazing ability to write themselves out every time is really special. It's super unique. And like I said, if you want to know what happened to America, you have to start to trace the lineage of the B'nai B'rith lodges. Look at I mean, probably books, obviously, that you would never, ever be able to read in high school. You have to start to conduct research independently. Ben Shapiro's family ancestors, B'nai B'rith, okay? Barry Weiss, B'nai B'rith. That's why when you see these differences and amongst Jewish people, they want you to make the mistake of thinking that this is what all Jews are doing, and it's not true. Okay, there's such a fundamental difference between a Dave Smith and a Ben Shapiro. I have a suspicion that I could quit working. Like if I just texted Dave Smith and I said, I don't want to be friends or ever work together in any capacity ever again, I gotta feel like he would just let me move on in my life. I got this suspicion that he wouldn't. But you could see that there's like something else brewing when it comes to people like Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro. They can't let these things go because they view themselves as supposed to be over us, right? And they also won't criticize people like Jeffrey Epstein. Now, in case you did not pay attention to what was termed Pizzagate back in 2016, the short of it is that the DNC email server got hacked.
Bad part about that was they was trying to tell us it was fake, but it's not. Guess what? And see, the bad part about all this, I didn't think they was going to release this because you're snitching on yourself, okay? You are straight snitching on yourself. And what killed me the most is they said Israel is mentioned more or just as much as Donald Trump. So, yeah, when he gets his, that senile saying stuff off the top of your head, we'll know. Like, hold up, I'll give you an example. George Bush Sr., I think they probably offed him because as he was getting older, he was just saying stuff, and yeah, we can't have that. No, not at all. And I mean, it's how it is.
And off of those emails, they were published publicly by Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, and there was a strange amount of references to pizza parties, grown adult men, government employees, men, referring to pizza in ways and within a context that made it seem as though they obviously were not referring to literal pizza, having had parties on ranches and referring to pizza. I'm going to give you an example here.
Hey, when I had a pizza party in school, it was actual pizza, okay? Yeah.
This email went to John Podesta. It was sent to him from someone named Catherine Tate. These are very old, obviously, or else we would have hidden her email. She writes, "Hi, John. The realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has."
Just thinking of another thing. They said whenever they get ready to make military strikes, they'll order Domino's phones will start ringing off the hooks. So, I might invest in Domino's. LOL.
A map that seems pizza related. Is it yours? They can send it if you want. I know you're busy, so feel free not to respond if it's not yours or you don't want it. Also, weird specific orders of pizza and hot dogs. That was the beginning of that entire scandal that they tried to downplay and pretend that it was crazy. Well, I should let you know the FBI has already formally acknowledged that pizza is used as a code word amongst pedophiles. So that's not an illusion. That's real. No conspiracy needed.
What?
Epstein emails, people are diving back in there. What are we to make of these 900 plus emails referring to pizza in real ways? You guys can look through these yourself.
If you look at the emails, be like, dang, they love pizza. I'm not a fan of it like I used to be now.
Okay. Of course, there are the Jeffrey Epstein emails. Some emails which we're never going to see, and photos that we're never going to see regarding murder, killing people, calls to kill people. I'm sure they're going to explain this away. Everybody's joking all the time. Todd Blanche has already come out and said that they're sparing us the videos. So we should just assume that there are graphic videos that pertain to death based on his statement. And I'm going to pivot here to just one example of a very strange email which was covered by James Lee. Take a listen.
Why is this name redacted? You would think the DOJ would want to investigate someone who sent an email to Jeffrey Epstein saying, quote, I give you permission to kill him.
Answer this in the comments. Who do you think that is? Whose name is that? Because why would they have that picture of the press secretary and Donald Trump together? Who is that?
The DOJ sucks at their job, and there's actually another version of that email that is
they're terrible.
less redacted.
They are terrible at their job. Oh my God. They are.
Accurately, poorly redacted. Check this out. I give you permission to kill him. He is apparently with Olga. He lied to you. He lied to me. And you can kind of make out the name here to
Olga.
Be one Susan Hamblin. Here's an enhanced image. You could read right there, Susan
Olga. I would never name my child Olga. Alright, sorry. Wouldn't do that. And I wouldn't never name my child Jeff, because nothing good ever comes out of the name Jeff. Few people maybe. But, yeah, no, nothing good's come out of anybody named Jeff. Not at all. Sorry.
Hamblin. So who is Susan Hamblin? Well, she is evidently a financial advisor and founder of the adoption agency Kids to Families. Looks like the agency no longer exists, but I was able to find this archive in the Wayback Machine. At this point, we still don't know who Olga is, but according to reporting, it says that the only time the name has come up in the Epstein case is when his former lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, recounted getting a massage from a woman of the same name at Epstein's place. Now, interestingly, a few years ago, Susan Hamblin sued News Group Newspapers, the publisher of The Sun, who had printed that Susan Hamblin had groomed and procured a 16-year-old woman to be sexually abused by Epstein and told her that Epstein would kill her and her family if she told anyone what Epstein had done. They've since removed those articles and agreed to pay her a substantial compensation. But one Sue Hamblin can be seen in this photo with Jeffrey Epstein describing her to be his alleged assistant, as well as this photo of her leaving Jeffrey Epstein's New York City apartment, describing her as a long-term confidant. A lot of stuff going on here, but the lesson is that this is all information that the DOJ wants to hide from us, but thank goodness the internet is still undefeated.
Yep.
Also, I love that he's wearing a CIA t-shirt. James, great work. So
internet, it's always, you're not gonna defeat it. You're not. There's a lot of things on the internet, too.
Many independent journalists, thankfully for independent journalists, or this would have all been buried. I mean, if you just look to what the public was trying to say, they've even been trying to rehabilitate some of these people. Alan Dershowitz, it's unbelievable that this man has gone through so many people like Mark Levin and, of course, Barry Weiss, always the staunch defenders of Israel. Nothing to see here, nothing to look at. People, this was going viral this weekend, people rightfully going back and examining Ben Shapiro, once again, working diligently, as he did with Pizzagate, to tell people to dismiss the Epstein emails because he had sources and everything we needed to know was already out. Take a listen.
She went out there and claimed there were tens of thousands of hours of tape.
He need to shave his eyebrows. Mugs are bushy. What are you doing, Ben? Them eyebrows go so hard.
There are, by the way, but they are child pornography. The reason the FBI is not releasing them is because those tapes do not include underage people with third parties on Epstein Island. That is not what the tapes are.
Y'all see them?
I also have sources in the federal government who are covering this stuff and have seen the documents. Okay, those tapes are just child porn. That's all. That's what they are. That's why the FBI is not releasing them. Okay, as far as the Epstein list, what I have been told by my sources is that
let's arrest the FBI.
There is no Epstein list. That basically there's a black book of Jeffrey Epstein contacts. And the vast majority of those contacts are already out there publicly. That's why you know names like Prince Andrew or Alan Dershowitz or some of the names that have been mentioned here. Those contacts,
this is why I haven't listened to him in forever. This dude right here is trying to deflect everything from... Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. But you sticking up for, them, you know?
No evidence, according to the DOJ and the FBI, and again, that's public. There's no evidence that any of those third parties were having girls trafficked to them. Okay, that
Yeah,
is
there
not
were.
evidence that was made clear, certainly, to the DOJ or the FBI. Here is Tucker then asserting that it was actually Mossad. Again, without evidence, not a shock. Of course, this is where Tucker was going. This has become the hot speculation on the internet, is without evidence. You say that Mossad was running Jeffrey Epstein. When I say without evidence, I mean without evidence. Naftali Bennett, the former Israeli prime minister, said, quote, as a former Israeli prime minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't. And in fact, I followed up with the former Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, and what he told me is that Mossad has not been active in the United States or against the United States since the Jonathan Pollard scandal of 1987, when a U.S. Army contractor who's actually working for the Navy revealed classified information to the Israeli government. He was prosecuted by the United States government and ended up in prison.
I didn't watch
for
this whole
almost
clip.
30
This is
years.
hilarious.
And so Israel since then has not spied on the United States with Mossad.
Okay, guys. Well, there you have it. It's just, I don't know how he does it with a straight face. I just like,
And them big
well,
ass
anyway, guys,
eyebrows.
there's millions of females
Hey,
that don't
look
even
at
like.
'em.
It's like
Hey,
Mossad hasn't been
them
doing
eyebrows.
nothing.
Bruh. You need look at mine. They don't look like that.
I know it seems weird because BB's like always here or whatever, and we seem to be doing their bidding everywhere. But the Mossad just like said in 9 days, they were like, I'm a chill. And they haven't done a single thing here at all. I know it might look that way. Miriam Adel said she doesn't even know their names. She doesn't know who they are, actually. She's doing her thing and she's giving Trump $200 million, but it ain't got nothing to do with the Mossad. So I just wanted to bring you that stunning report from Ben Shapiro.
Hey, thank God for Ben Shapiro. LOL.
Thank you for clarifying, Benjamin.
Thanks.
Nicki Minaj also went off in a series of tweets after it was revealed that Jay-Z was mentioned in one of the emails. Now, I'm going to wait for a little more information regarding this email because I don't want to be first to publish because they are.
I need to. I can see why she named it that, but
are now saying that some of these emails came in later when people were allowed to then just flood the FBI with reports. That might not be right either. So just
okay. I'm sorry. Who emails? I don't email. I use text messages like everybody else does.
give me some more time to look into it. But the point is Jay-Z was mentioned here, and it was in the context of being with Harvey Weinstein, watching somebody be assaulted. I'll definitely have more for you guys. And basically a bunch of people rightfully unfollowed Jay-Z. I have not been a Jay-Z fan for a very long time. It is very obvious. He sold us out to the feds. He's clearly working for the feds. I have always believed that the individual that came forward and was honest about what was happening with Diddy and Cass and talking about how the feds do deal with rappers. They give them tons of money and then they move drugs in. That just felt like the correct thing. Like my assumption when it came to Jay-Z was obviously what he was involved in. And so, yeah, Nicki Minaj had a lot to say because she feels vindicated in many ways about speaking about how the hip hop industry works, that you have to get involved with a lot of this stuff. And if you don't, they will essentially blackball you. And you know what? Ye has spoken about how you get blackballed in the industry. He was obviously too sleepy and never got to those tweets that he was going to author because he was very tired and he needed a nap, but he was about to let loose on a bunch of people who were doing the blackballing. And I do very much believe that Jay-Z is a part of that. That, like I said, feels to me like common sense. And I think more will come out and people are unfollowing him. Anyways, here's what Nicki Minaj had to say. She wrote, "Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is
He
up."
craves it.
And yeah,
He loves
she's
souls.
not the first person in Hollywood to say that. I mean, every time we show you things, even when we showed you the CERN activity that was happening, which somebody caught on tape, they just came out and were like, "Oh, we were just faking. That was just like fun. That's what scientists do. They dress up in the middle of the night and pretend to stab women."
No, they wasn't having fun.
Before
Or they probably
a
were.
statue of Shiva. That's kind of what they told us about CERN. I just don't know how much could be in our face anymore before we wake up and realize these people are ruling over us, and they win when we're fighting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality. I really don't.
What's the saying? United we stand, divided we fall. Yeah, they benefit from that.
See how you can have a ton of success in Hollywood and not be in the club, because Hollywood was founded upon this. Hollywood Babylon, we spoke to you about this. In our book club, they quite literally imported people from Vienna, where Sigmund Freud was, where his boys were. They imported them and they made them directors, they made them actors, they made them actresses, and they were tasked with destroying Christianity, just as they were doing upon the European continent. I don't have time to tell you guys about World War II. Just assume that everything that they told you is incorrect and upside down. They're lying about what happened yesterday. They sure as hell are not telling us the truth about what happened.
Actually, I'm going to go into a deep dive about 1 and 2. So, yeah, look forward to that one.
World War II. And I just don't really care what you call me. It's time for everyone to wake up. And we're not getting all these files, obviously. They are protecting a ton of people. The fact that you can't find like the Adelsons in here is completely ridiculous. The people that are still in power, like they're active agents in America today, are all being protected, which is why it was super interesting to see them sort of throw
another thing about that. See, since we found out about this, who knows what they're doing now? So,
Teal under the bus. That was interesting. Like I said, you can trace this stuff through politics, through Hollywood, the Jewish occultist mystics that established these industries. But Peter Thiel, his emails went up there, and it ain't good for J.D. Vance. I'll tell you that right away. I think this is plausibly the biggest scandal to come out of I guess I should say, the most consequential thing to come out of these emails that I can see right now. There's millions to go through. So we'll have more, and we'll be reporting on more. But J.D. Vance, he was they had him there, right? Like, he's going to be running in 2028. He's not been leaning super into the Zionist stuff. He seems to be abstaining, has been quiet.
He can not lean into it, but that's a show. That's a show. Look, Trump, when he was running, he said, hey, no wars, no wars, no wars. And I'm going to be a peace president. I want peace. I want peace. But, yeah, we didn't get peace.
It's during the whole Epstein thing. It definitely didn't seem like he agreed with it. But everyone knows that Peter Thiel effectively funded J.D. Vance's career. He probably had something to do with J.D. Vance getting the deal with Netflix to do his book, A Hillbilly Elegy, I think it was called. And Peter Thiel...
That's effed up. Still making money. See?
Who was mentioned early on as being someone who was friends with Epstein, went on to Rogan at the end of last year and sort of intimated that he really didn't know Epstein that well, but spoke to him mainly just about math because he knew about taxes and how to avoid them. Take a listen.
I met Epstein a few times as well, and I think...
How'd you get introduced?
It was Reid Hoffman in Silicon Valley introduced us in 2014, but it was basically, and I didn't didn't ask enough questions about it.
When you were introduced to him, how was he described to you?
He was described as one of the smartest tax people in the world.
Interesting.
And I probably was my moral weakness that I.
Well, how could you have known back then? He had never been arrested.
No, this was 2014. It was post arrest.
Oh, so his arrest was the first arrest, right?
Yeah,
which was like
2007, 08.
Okay. Okay. And so,
but you assume he didn't go to jail for that long.
Right.
It was probably not as serious as alleged. There was certainly the illusion that there were all these other people that I trusted. Reid, who introduced us, was, he started LinkedIn. He was, maybe too focused on business networking, but
right.
But I thought he always had good judgment in people.
When the went down and Epstein gets arrested for the second time, where you're like, oh, well, there you go.
His face.
I've thought about it. I thought a lot about it as a result. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And thought about it, he did, because he was emailing Jeffrey Epstein a lot, meeting up with him a lot. Definitely sounds like they were very close.
He was probably
Inviting him to the
emailing him.
island. Basically, this guy's going to be here.
Hey, I say they say island, I say is land. It is land.
From Europe. Also, you should come this weekend. They were together all throughout New York, constantly messaging each other. It is not a good look. There is no question these two were friends. And I do not accept that the person who's effectively spying on all of us, he's got to deal with the military through Palantir, by the way, should be clear. He also, Palantir boys were put onto Fort Huachuca Air Base in July. We'll get into that later. And now we're supposed to believe that he just like, oh, I couldn't look in any further. I had no context to figure out what Epstein was accused of. And I decided to still be friends with him, despite all the allegations, despite him admitting to what he did.
All my friends got islands. All my friends got islands. How many friends you got islands? Answer that in the comments.
Via Acosta, who was told to leave Epstein alone. That's if Acosta is to be believed, that's the reason why he had to basically give him a slap on the wrist. And we're supposed to believe Peter Thiel, with all of his resources, just went, trust me, bro, I'm not buying it. And this is now a major problem for JD Vance. It is. Just, there's no other way to say it. JD Vance is going to have to answer for this. This is not going to be something he can wiggle around.
Yeah.
And I don't think he is going.
I'm going to give a prediction for this year because, midterms, the Republicans are going to lose the House, the Senate, and in 2028 they're going to lose the presidency. So, yeah, we're going to be dealing with a lot in 2028.
Going to make a statement on Peter Thiel.
They kicked that can, and we'll find out.
I think that's going to be interesting. That is going to be very interesting, the implications of that, but also interesting that they threw Peter Thiel under the bus because they're protecting the other homies. Like I said, I expect the Kushners to be in here. Obviously, his connections to the Mossad. I mean, there's a little bit. He's setting up meetings.
Another thing, you could tell they're scrambling. You can really tell they're scrambling. They are throwing everybody under the bus. And, dang, SMH, bruh. Y'all are silly.
Yahoo, Ahoud Barak's all over it. He's writing emails and making kind of some jokes which suggest, like, about Robert.
Another thing, I can't wait to see what Slick Wee Willie is.
Maxwell and things of that nature. But they've cleaned this up majorly. I also expected to see some other names, which would bring us a little closer to solving the Charlie Kirk murder, in my opinion. So we're getting something. We are not getting anywhere near everything. And that's why Thomas Massey is demanding for there to be more of a release. And also these should be unredacted. If you're talking about murdering people, we should be allowed to see that. We should be able to see exactly who is sending all of these emails when you're speaking about children and the things that you are doing to children in ritualistic acts. Anyways, the next thing I want to say, interestingly enough, is that last week on Thursday, the timing of this is incredible, but Andrew Colvett and alleged Mikey McCoy and his wife went down to meet with the White House, and they wanted the public to think that they were in Arizona. They ran this interview with Kash Patel on Charlie Kirk's show, which is supposed to be live every day. You can fake a live, you can make it a pre-record, but it's interesting that they were actually meeting with top brass at the White House. I'm looking for details about what that meeting was about, because I just need to know. There's a lot about pageantry in these emails. It seems like Jeffrey Epstein was practically picking these girls to win pageants.
Yeah. I'm not going to comment on none of that.
There's obviously a lot about his real estate empire, and they have conveniently redacted the names of some of these beauty queens, which I find to be a little bit suspicious. With what I know about Jeffrey Epstein and the way that he was moving with Jean-Luc Brunel and going to these industries like Victoria's Secret, like Miss Universe, and I think that that's how Trump is caught up into it and is also being rinsed out of these files. They were trafficking through these organizations We know this for a fact. Modeling organizations like M Model Management with John-Luc Brunel. And so I'm going to need that all redacted. I want to know who are all these pageant queens.
Yeah, I love the word redacted. It's like you're going to write a book report and then turn it in. I had this badass book report I was going to do, but I redacted all of it. Do I need an A? Do I get an A? I do.
That he was speaking to, he was asking to see portfolios of women virtually at all of the schools in New York. He was basically running New York City. I want to know everything. Which brings me to Erica Kirk, of course, because she made it clear that she, first and foremost, wants J.D. Vance in the White House. That was kind of a bizarre push at AmFest right away.
He won't make it to the White House.
We have been working to verify her Fort Huachuca alibi. And we're having some major problems. More about that when we get back from a quick sponsor break. All right, you guys, thanks to skincare.com. Do you guys ever wonder why Hillary Clinton in those WikiLeaks emails was asking a few days before we invaded Iraq? She was trying to locate Gilgamesh's tomb. I don't know if you guys read the Epic of Gilgamesh. I certainly did when I was at university. Effectively, it has been long suspected that Gilgamesh was actually Nimrod in the Bible, okay? So think of the Tower of Babel. We can build society. We're greater than God. Why would Hillary Clinton be looking...
They was wanting to go fight God. That's what that was.
For that tomb in Iraq. That's what Gilgamesh is featured in Iraq, present-day Iraq. Yeah, okay, so you gotta wake up, guys. It's all real. They made you think that this was hocus pocus. It's not.
Israel is real.
They are practicing ancient witchcraft. Who knows what they were going to attempt to do with that. But a lot of our activities in the Middle East have nothing to do with a war on terror. In fact, we kind of are the terrorists. If we're being honest, and what the CIA's been up to, we kind of are the terrorists. That's how you kill 1 million Iraqis, by just lying and saying they're weapons of mass destruction. No, they just mass murdered people, but they are also destroying ancient sites. The reason for that is because you cannot, as they want to be, this is what the AI future is about, they want there to be no past, and they will control the ever-present, right?
No.
You say this happened.
They want to control the narrative, you know? There's no God. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. The Epic of Gilgamesh is pretty good. I like it because the floods in it, you just have to go listen to it or read it, but it's a good book. I mean, it's a good story, not a book, but
Yesterday, they'll delete a file. It didn't happen yesterday anymore. So they want to go back and they want to destroy all of these relics. That's why there is this obsession with getting into Armenia, which they're working on right now. Iraq, Iran, that's exactly what I think. Iran is another place where there's so much history. But they have not been successful in destroying the ancient temples, which show you that the Star of David, it was never associated with Judaism. Jews, please wake up. The Kiddush cup, that is the traditional symbol of Judaism. It even says this on Wikipedia, that this did not emerge until the 17th century, right? 1666 was when that guy who was a mystic declared himself to be the Messiah.
Fuck that. I wouldn't want to be alive in the year 1666. Ugh. Wow. Too many sixes there. When my stocks says I have all them sixes there, I'll exit out. I don't want to look at the sixes.
Messiah, and they adopted this symbol because it's actually from Solomon's seal. To people that believed that Solomon's ring held power. And I want to show you this because they have done a very good job of destroying a lot of these relics of these Baal temples, but they have not done a complete job. They are making sacrifices to Baal. That is the sacrifice that these pagans are making with constant bloodshed of children. Now, I want to show you this. I don't know if you have pulled this in yet, Skylar. Some of these relics, like in Baalbek, Lebanon. Yeah, here we go. This is still present today, but they're obviously, Israel is trying to take over Lebanon right now. That won't be here for a very long time. And then we have another Baal temple. Here you can see that Star of David, which is also all over Aleister Crowley, not a Jew, all over his books on ritualistic magic. Is the quote unquote Star of David. You have to know this. The symbolism means everything to them. And I implore the Jewish community.
Think about all movies and everything. They have some type of symbolism. And the Paramount logo is one of the, here. Look at it. We'll look it up right quick. Watch it. Alright, so the stars represent the Watchers. That's Mount Hermon. This is where the deal was made. See, the symbolism is real. It's real. It's real. All this is real.
You're so diligent at learning history. It's sitting right there. Start with Sigmund Freud, something recent, if you will, and then just start working backward. That's kind of what I did when I recognized these fringe movements. The Frankist cult, long speculated that Jacob Frank was funded by the Rothschild family. Well, we certainly know Jeffrey Epstein was, according to him. He was funded by the Rothschild family. So all these rumors about the Rothschilds are probably not rumors. They just have a lot of money and they pay people off. It's how you get these pastors to lie, these all across all religions that will lie and dissuade their people. And again, nobody can give you a reason as to why the Moroccan flag, the flag of Morocco, was a 6-pointed Star of David. Now it's 5 stars, but it was 6 stars when the Alawite dynasty, I hope I'm saying that right. Saying that right. The Alawite dynasty, probably not saying it right, began to take over.
I haven't listened to all the interview yet, but you see what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these evil people. They control everything. I don't understand this, but this is for a bigger reason. It's God's plan. This is God's plan, and so we're gonna find out. So we can keep going. I'm gonna finish this this podcast, and then I'll post something else if I find anything more that I find interesting about it. But really, Graceful put one out today about William, but this is I'm
Hey,
gonna
Internet
follow
friends,
this
stare into
video
the abyss
up
with me for a
this.
moment. On January 30th, the Department of Justice uploaded over 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images associated with the Epstein files. There's so much to cover. I'm going to have to do a series of shorter videos just to get through all of it, so it's not lost in one video. Let's first address the Rothschild connection to Epstein. Just to remind everybody, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2008, but he continued to associate with powerful people. He wasn't shunned from any social circles. They straight up did not care. It just really seems like Epstein was an upper manager of the 3-city empire, the unholy trinity. The city of London, with Israel as its proxy 4th pillar, Washington, D.C., and the Vatican, aka the bank, the muscle, and the spirit, or the ideological control. That's my thesis.
Hey, I didn't know what an obelisk was, and when I found out about it, go look it up. Go look it up. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's got something to do with Apollo. So go look up what an obelisk is.
For all of these videos I'm about to make, a statement which we will revisit at the end of all of them. Obviously, if we're talking about the bank first, we're talking about the Rothschilds. In a 2016 email to Palantir billionaire Peter Thiel, Epstein begins the email with, "As you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. I was hoping to figure out a way for the bank that has $160 billion in management can do something in tech. Best client list in the world. Prehistoric products. It can wait. Good luck in China." End of the email. I do wonder what prehistoric products Epstein is referring to. He then proceeds to invite Thiel to his island. I've done several videos on the Rothschild family and their deep links to world banking as one of the hidden hand families controlling the world, but when you say that online, you get hit with a little blue bubble bar under your video saying that it's all conspiracy theory. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Epstein is just leading his email with it. It's his hook.
I've never met Peter Thiel, and everybody says he sort of jumps around and acts sort of strange, like he's on drugs.
Smoking, yeah.
However, he has a company called Palantir.
Bigger than Sequoia or Kleiner
These are the new Kleiner Perkins. Everybody, these are the smart boys.
That same year, Ariane de Rothschild, who married into the Rothschild family, who serves as CEO of the Edmond de Rothschild Group, which is a Swiss private bank, she met with Epstein from 2013 to 2019, and they established a $25 million consulting agreement, which was signed in October of 2015, between Epstein Southern Trust Company and the Rothschild Group for risk analysis and algorithm-related services. So the Rothschilds on paper for this contract were paying him $25 million just to provide introductions to U.S. finance leaders and law firms, and he provided tax and risk consulting while also helping Ariane personally on a couple of occasions with advice on estate management. Guys, they went to Broadway shows together, Canadian vacations, discussed, destroying the world together. I'll provide you the proof on that here in just a second, but leaked by a hacker group and uploaded.
Yeah. That's wild.
By nonprofit whistleblower, distributed denial of secrets, the inbox of Israeli Defense Minister Ehud Barak showed a close relationship with Epstein, showcasing Epstein's efforts to leverage his personal friendship with Ariane to raise funds for the development of Israeli cyber weapons. It's crazy that this guy was this close with a former prime minister of a country. These particular emails were from 2013 to 2016, when Barak used Epstein as a consultant and financial advisor. Among the projects that Barak appears to have sought Epstein's advice on was a proposed investment in an Israeli startup called Light and Strong, which in 2014 was working on a solar-powered, high-altitude, long-endurance drone in an initiative dubbed Project Sunspark. Epstein specifically told Barak no to this investment, instead connecting him with Ariane de Rothschild. Around this time, Epstein was pursuing Rothschild to fund Israeli offensive cyber startups, according to Dropsite News. So I wonder if this whole thing was just about knocking down a competitor that Barak was going to hire in favor of his guy, but anyway, I digress. The emails show that Epstein had advised Barak on how to approach Ariane, saying that he would need to build a relationship with her if he wanted to make serious money. Quote, "I'm ready, but I need your advice on how. Ladies is your forte," Barak wrote to Epstein on November of 2013. Epstein replied, "Time, attention, stable, recurring, predictable, where, what, when." Well, he would know because Ariane and Epstein were familiar, so familiar that they discussed a Hitler connection to their families via email. Epstein wrote, quote, "I thought you'd find amusing that in a Harvard class on Hitler, they told the story of when he was so poor he lived in shelter for the homeless and destitute that had been financed by 3 wealthy families, the Gutmans, the Epsteins, and the Rothschilds. It turns out to be accurate." End quote. Ariane responded saying whether it's a way to say that generosity.
Anyway, they're responsible for Hitler coming to power. They're responsible for the First World War, Second World War, and they're fixing to be responsible for the Third freaking World War. These people gotta go. Get them out of here. Like, seriously. Bankers, all that, they're responsible for all the wars. This is them. So, that's pretty much all I got for you. So, if you wonder where all the wars are coming from, it's coming from bankers, the Rothschilds, and this Epstein dude that stayed in the background all these years, since the 80s. So, if you're wanting to wonder where all this come from, it's them. All them. It's all their fault. So, leave me a comment in the comment section and tell me what you think. Y'all have a good one.